Have you ever wondered how the dynamics of family relationships can shape our lives as we age? In today's video, we delve into the profound impact that responsibility, independence, and gratitude play in our interactions with our children. As parents, it's easy to pour unconditional love into our kids. But what happens when that love turns into dependency? Join us as we explore the crucial lessons on nurturing self-reliance in children, the importance of teaching manners and gratitude, and how these elements can influence their future and yours. By the end of this video, you'll understand the delicate balance between support and overprotection, the role of parents in guiding their children toward independence, and how to foster healthy relationships that last a lifetime. You'll also discover practical strategies to prepare for your future, ensuring that you maintain your dignity and happiness as you age. Don't miss the insights that could transform your family dynamic and help you build a legacy of gratitude and strength. Stay tuned. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. At the heart of the matter lies a troubling and pervasive issue: the alarming lack of responsibility and the growing inability of many young people to achieve true independence. This lack of independence, paired with an absence of personal accountability, creates a fragile foundation that hampers their ability to thrive. Independence and responsibility are not just important, they are the very bedrock upon which success is built. In a world that demands resilience and self-reliance, how can one aspire to reach significant goals or fulfill lofty dreams without first mastering the art of self-governance? As the timeless adage poignantly reminds us, if you cannot take care of yourself, how can you protect and support others? This profound truth serves as a vital reminder of the essential qualities we must cultivate in ourselves before we can extend our care and support to those around us. Regrettably, the notion of repaying the love and support graciously received from our parents has all too often devolved into a mere fantasy, particularly in today's fast-paced world. Many modern parents, fueled by the best of intentions and a deep desire to nurture, inadvertently spoil their children, overlooking the critical responsibility of teaching them the fundamental life skills necessary for achieving independence. These children grow up enveloped in an abundance of love and care, akin to canaries lovingly kept in gilded cages, blissfully unaware of the realities and hardships that await them once they step out into the wider world. When they finally attempt to assert their independence, they are frequently met with overwhelming feelings of anxiety and confusion, unsure of how to navigate the complexities of life. Economically, they remain tied to their parents, often living in their homes and relying on their financial support. Emotionally, they cling to their parents, seeking their guidance in every aspect of their lives. From the most trivial needs, such as meals and clothing, to the most consequential decisions that shape their futures, these young individuals find themselves ensnared in a web of reliance on others, particularly their well-meaning parents. What is truly crucial in this context is understanding the delicate balance between where parents should extend their helping hands and where they must firmly draw the line. It is an instinct for parents to shower their children with love as a means of protection and nurturing. However, when that love veers into overprotectiveness, it can unintentionally stifle a child's budding autonomy. For many parents, the heart-wrenching decision to allow their children to experience failure and setbacks can be one of the most difficult choices they will ever face. Yet, this very act of allowing children to stumble and learn from their mistakes is the first step toward empowering them and nurturing their future success. Additionally, parents must come to grips with the vital importance of instilling a sense of responsibility in their children from a young age. If children are shielded from the trials and tribulations that life inevitably presents, they will not develop the essential skills needed to navigate small failures. Instead, they will find themselves woefully unprepared for the larger challenges that await them, and the weight of those challenges will ultimately fall back on their parents, creating a cycle of dependency that can be difficult to break. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In a landscape where many parents seek to shower their children with affection in hopes of fostering a deep sense of gratitude, it is crucial to recognize that no matter how profound this gratitude may be, it can never replace the necessity of independence. If children fail to cultivate their self-sufficiency and are unable to shoulder their share of responsibilities, they will inevitably struggle to care for or manage their parents as they age. The ancient teachings of Confucius echo through the ages, reminding us that children should honor and respect their parents in their youth, and as they grow, they should strive to contribute their talents and abilities to society. Yet, children who lack a solid sense of responsibility often find themselves straying from this noble path. They become adrift, lost in a sea of confusion, unable to develop the inner strength necessary to face life's challenges. Rather than forging their own identities and aspirations, they become perpetual seekers of escape, caught in a cycle of dependence that inhibits their growth. It's as though they are tethered to their parents, unable to fully wean themselves off the comfort and familiarity of home, devoid of the motivation needed to carve their paths or establish meaningful goals, living solely for the fleeting pleasures of entertainment rather than embracing the richness of life. While parents remain healthy and capable, these dependent children may continue to thrive on this system of reliance. However, the stark reality is that when parents eventually experience fatigue or face financial challenges, these children are likely to become a significant burden on the entire family rather than the supportive pillar they were meant to be. If you find yourself recognizing a troubling lack of self-reliance and responsibility in your children, it is wise to temper your expectations regarding their ability to support you in your later years. Filial piety, a concept that carries profound significance across cultures, transcends mere expressions of gratitude or heartfelt sentiments. It embodies the expectation that children possess the strength and capability to stand on their own 2 feet and actively contribute to the family dynamic. The true role of parents extends far beyond the superficial act of showering their children with love. It encompasses the profound responsibility of teaching children how to be independent and self-sufficient. This involves providing guidance that empowers them to walk confidently on their own 2 feet and navigate life's challenges with grace. One critical point to consider is the stark contrast between the boundless love parents pour into raising their children, vast and deep like the ocean, and the expectation that once these children reach adulthood, they will seamlessly step into roles that support their parents. It is a sobering thought that many parents act as though they are counting the days and hours until their children assume this mantle of responsibility. Rather than placing unrealistic expectations on their children's sense of filial duty, it is far wiser for parents to prepare for their futures, laying the groundwork for their old age well in advance. This foresight reflects the wisdom and attentiveness needed for parents to navigate their later years with a sense of security, dignity, and peace of mind. The reality we face can indeed be harsh, and there will inevitably come a time when children must choose a path of self-sufficiency, disentangling their lives from the threads of their parents' hopes for filial devotion. As parents, we must prioritize crafting an independent plan for our future and old age above all else, ensuring that we are not left vulnerable when the inevitable challenges of aging arise. Moreover, we cannot overlook the critical importance of teaching children proper manners and etiquette, essential virtues that nurture personal dignity and moral integrity, particularly within the context of Eastern cultures. As one insightful lecturer aptly noted, "If you do not learn manners, how can you live as a person?" This statement resonates deeply, emphasizing that etiquette is not merely a set of social niceties. It is a fundamental lesson that refines one's character and teaches the correct way to engage with others. I fondly recall a powerful moment when this lecturer imparted his wisdom to his son, saying, "If you do not learn manners, how can you talk about life? If you lack courtesy, how can you truly live as a person?" These invaluable lessons serve as the building blocks of a well-rounded individual, shaping the values and behaviors that guide us through life, fostering not just personal dignity but also respect and empathy towards others. Ultimately, the journey of raising children is not simply about providing a comfortable and loving environment. It is about preparing them to face the world with confidence, resilience, and the ability to contribute meaningfully to their families and society. By fostering independence, responsibility, and proper etiquette, we not only honor our role as parents but also set the stage for a brighter future for our children, one where they can thrive as self-sufficient individuals capable of navigating the complexities of life with grace and dignity. Manners encompass much more than mere interpersonal niceties. They represent essential societal norms that shape an individual's character and impart invaluable skills for meaningful interactions with others. The significance of teaching children proper manners cannot be overstated, as these lessons serve as a compass guiding them through the complexities of social life. Without these foundational teachings, children risk becoming ensnared in a relentless whirlpool of desires, adrift in life like a ship without a rudder, directionless and vulnerable to the tumultuous waves of societal pressures. The weight of this reality underscores the profound responsibility that falls upon parents and caregivers. If they neglect to instill the values of etiquette during their children's formative years, they inadvertently set the stage for the development of disordered habits and a troubling lack of empathy toward others. Picture the consequences of such neglect. Children who shout and act out loudly in public, demonstrate blatant disrespect toward teachers, or remain blissfully unaware of the discomfort they may cause others. Often, these children are oblivious to the ripples their actions create. Seemingly trivial behaviors, such as failing to observe basic table manners or showing indifference to the feelings of those around them, can cascade into a deeper-seated lack of respect for others, ultimately fostering irresponsible and self-serving personalities in adulthood. This disconnection not only affects their relationships with peers but also extends to their interactions with their parents, leading to a troubling self-centered worldview that erodes the fundamental bonds of family. When children grow up without a proper understanding of etiquette and social norms, they risk becoming thoughtless individuals who fail to consider the feelings of others. This self-absorption can lead to strained relationships, particularly with their parents, whom they may begin to take for granted. The painful reality is that immature behavior can result in profound sadness for parents, who often feel as though they have poured their hearts and souls into raising their children, only to be met with ingratitude or disrespect. This burden is emotionally taxing, leading to feelings of disappointment, isolation, and heartache for parents who genuinely desire a loving connection with their children. As time goes on, if this pattern persists, the once cherished bond between parent and child may gradually cool, replaced by a pervasive sense of loneliness and anxiety for the parents. The thought of watching one's child grow distant, almost like a stranger, is an incredibly painful experience. Education, therefore, extends far beyond the mere transfer of knowledge. It is about nurturing the whole individual, heart, mind, and spirit. Instilling respect for elders, kindness toward younger individuals, and a deep-rooted understanding of empathy are not just lessons but cornerstones of a child's upbringing. These teachings lay the groundwork for children to mature into compassionate adults who can navigate society with grace and respect for others. When children genuinely grasp the value of manners, they can transform into filial individuals who appreciate and honor their parents' sacrifices. This journey of understanding is not merely about rote memorization of rules. It involves helping children comprehend the significance behind these principles. Manners, after all, are not just superficial formalities. They embody the essence of human value and mutual respect. Those who cultivate an understanding of manners tend to be more empathetic and able to resonate with the feelings of others. In contrast, individuals lacking this awareness risk becoming isolated and unable to forge genuine connections with those around them. As parents, imparting this knowledge is an invaluable gift, serving as a protective measure for their children's future. Moreover, if parents fail to instill the importance of manners and the fundamental rules of engagement in daily life from an early age, they face a daunting challenge when trying to correct these shortcomings in adulthood. The reality is that proactive education is essential. Expecting children to change their behaviors on their own later in life is both unrealistic and unfair. The principles of manners and respect not only enhance parent-child relationships but also play a pivotal role in shaping children's social lives and interpersonal connections. The bonds formed in childhood set the stage for the kind of relationships they will foster in the future, relationships that can either uplift them or lead them to disappointment and isolation. In addition to nurturing manners, parents must also prepare for their futures. Instead of relying solely on their children's filial piety in old age, parents must cultivate their independence and prepare for a life that doesn't depend on their children's goodwill. This proactive approach can serve as a strategy for navigating the complexities of aging. As parents, they must embrace the idea that while feelings of gratitude and filial piety are indeed noble values, placing exclusive reliance on them can be precarious and even detrimental. By ensuring that children not only learn but also embody the principles of gratitude and manners, parents can foster a generation of grateful and respectful individuals who cherish and reciprocate their kindness as they grow older. Ultimately, nurturing these values is not just about creating well-behaved children. It's about enriching the parent-child relationship and contributing to a more compassionate and respectful society. As we invest in teaching manners, we are not merely shaping individual characters. We are fostering a community grounded in respect, empathy, and understanding. The emotional impact of this investment cannot be overstated. It has the potential to create lasting legacies of love and kindness that will resonate through generations, forging connections that bind families and communities together. The reality, however, often diverges dramatically from this ideal vision of parental love. The love that parents pour into their children flows endlessly and abundantly, much like a deep, powerful river, nurturing and shaping their lives without the expectation of anything in return. It is beautifully encapsulated in the age-old saying, "A drop of kindness is like a spring of water," reminding us that even the smallest acts of love can create ripples of impact throughout a child's life. From the very first tentative steps their children take, parents invest not only their time but their entire hearts and souls into providing everything they can. They create a nurturing environment, offering not just the basics of meals and a safe place to sleep, but also countless hours of engaging play, tender guidance, and unwavering support. Every sacrifice made, whether it be foregoing personal pleasures or tirelessly working extra hours, illustrates the depth of a parent's devotion. In their unwavering commitment, parents often put their joys and desires on hold, pouring every ounce of their being into raising their children. This boundless love and dedication ideally create a fertile ground where children, blessed to receive such warmth, grow up with hearts filled with gratitude, always remembering the sacrifices their parents made for them. Yet, as life often reveals, not every child nurtures this sense of gratitude as they mature. Some children, even from a young age, exhibit a troubling sense of selfishness, treating their parents' sacrifices as mere obligations, entirely overlooking the profound love behind those actions. For these children, the immense efforts and sacrifices their parents make become ordinary, almost expected, and devoid of the appreciation they rightfully deserve. Their focus is solely on what they receive, leaving little room for thoughts of giving back or expressing thanks. This lack of empathy and moral compass is deeply concerning, as they consistently prioritize their interests over the well-being of those who have dedicated their lives to their care. It pains the heart to witness such a one-sided relationship, where the parents' sacrifices go unnoticed and unreciprocated. When the inevitable time arrives, and parents begin to show signs of aging, experiencing the frailties that come with time, they often require support and understanding from their children. However, in stark contrast, these children find themselves grappling with feelings of resentment and frustration, questioning why they should shoulder such responsibilities. Sometimes, they even resort to blaming their parents for the burdens they perceive, as if the love and care that once filled their lives had been nothing more than a transactional exchange. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. A wise lecturer once shared an invaluable insight. Do not worry about having no status. Worry about not having enough to gain. Do not fret over not being recognized by others. Instead, focus on your ability to understand and empathize with others. This sentiment highlights that a heart full of gratitude transcends mere memory. It embodies compassion and a genuine connection to humanity. Children who grow up without this fundamental sense of gratitude risk becoming emotionally detached, developing a fickle attitude towards relationships, and often remaining indifferent even toward their family members. They may become so enmeshed in their self-centered world that they fail to recognize the profound impact their parents had on shaping their lives. As a result, the sacred bond between parent and child deteriorates, leading parents to experience profound loneliness, a heart-wrenching reality where the years spent nurturing their children dissolve into an aching void of unreciprocated love and connection. For parents, the true joy lies in raising children who embrace a heart filled with gratitude. This is the essence of parental fulfillment. Seeing your children blossom into caring, compassionate individuals who recognize the sacrifices made for them. On the contrary, when parents labor under the burden of raising ungrateful children, the suffering they endure is immeasurable and heartbreaking. Parents need to recognize that it is not enough merely to provide material things for their children. They must also instill a sense of gratitude and compassion within them. This nurturing of gratitude is crucial for safeguarding their children's futures and fostering strong, healthy parent-child relationships. When parents focus solely on raising children without encouraging a spirit of gratitude, the toll on their emotional well-being can be profound. Diligent parents do not expect their children to fulfill every obligation out of gratitude, understanding instead that it's vital to look forward to their future and begin making plans early on, all while hoping their children will come to appreciate the love that has been given. As the philosopher Bunjo aptly stated, the purpose of education is to equip children with the ability to think and act independently, rather than continuing to rely on their parents. Love, in its purest form, is about teaching children the values of self-reliance and instilling in them a profound understanding of gratitude. This process involves teaching them the value of hard work and the importance of giving back to those who have given so much. The journey of raising children extends far beyond their physical growth. It encompasses a long, intricate path of nurturing their character, emotional depth, and moral integrity. Parents must strive to create a space where their children can learn the significance of manners and the importance of gratitude, as well as fostering respect for others. By instilling these values, parents prepare their children to navigate even the most challenging situations in life with a correct heart and virtuous spirit. In conclusion, the nurturing of gratitude within children is not just a gift to the parents. It is a legacy that they pass on to future generations. When children understand the importance of gratitude, they cultivate relationships that are rich and fulfilling, leading to a life filled with meaningful connections. Thus, the act of raising children becomes a transformative journey, one that shapes not only their lives but also the very fabric of familial relationships, ultimately leading to a brighter and more compassionate future for all. The philosopher Plato once profoundly stated, "The true value of a human being lies in their ability to live according to the values they have been taught." This timeless quote encapsulates a fundamental truth about parenting. Raising children with a heart brimming with gratitude and understanding requires far more than merely fulfilling their momentary desires. Life is a complex tapestry woven from the threads of giving and receiving, of generosity and reciprocity. Our children need to grasp that true fulfillment comes not only from what they receive, but also from what they can give back to the world around them. Instilling this vital lesson in our children is not just an educational duty. It is a heartfelt mission that shapes their characters and influences their futures. Helping our children internalize the importance of gratitude is a profound journey, one that unfolds through shared experiences and nurturing guidance. We must show them that embracing challenges and responsibilities is crucial to their growth. I firmly believe that it is through facing life's obstacles, both big and small, that they learn resilience, develop empathy, and foster a sense of responsibility. Every struggle they encounter serves as an opportunity for growth, helping them evolve into individuals who appreciate the beauty of life, its lessons, and its complexities. As children grow, developing their identities and values, a heart of gratitude blossoms within them, illuminating their paths like the radiant sun breaking through a cloudy sky. As parents, we hold the sacred role of nurturing this journey, creating an environment that allows our children to feel safe and supported as they navigate the tumultuous waters of life. This journey of growth should be cherished, as it is the foundation upon which they will build their futures. Reflecting on the deepest happiness in life, I find that it transcends mere material wealth. It lies in the joy of raising children who embody gratitude and a strong sense of filial piety. We must never lose sight of the fact that teaching our children the importance of repaying kindness is the most precious gift we can offer, not only to them but to ourselves as well. It is a legacy that enriches their lives and shapes their futures, instilling values that will guide them through their journeys. It is this inheritance of kindness and gratitude that we hope will echo through generations, creating a ripple effect of love and generosity. As I stand at the threshold of my life at 75 years old, I am filled with gratitude for the lessons learned and the memories created along this remarkable journey. After retiring 15 years ago, I have savored the precious time spent with my family, cherishing every moment. However, before this serene chapter, my life was dominated by a demanding career that left little room for family engagement. The high concentration required by my job consumed my time and energy, pushing me to devote myself entirely to my work. In doing so, I unintentionally sidelined my wife, who gracefully managed our home and raised our children with unwavering strength and understanding. My wife is a remarkable woman, one of immense character and unwavering support. She never once voiced complaints or expressed dissatisfaction with our life circumstances. Instead, she stood by my side, always encouraging me, and allowing me to focus on my work with a heart full of peace, a testament to her profound love and commitment. It is only now, in hindsight, that I realize the depth of her sacrifices and the quiet strength she exhibited as she juggled the demands of family life with grace. After my retirement, my wife and I finally found ourselves liberated from the oppressive schedules that had consumed our lives, allowing us to enjoy the tranquil days we had longed for. Although my pension of over 120,000 yen per month may not be extravagant, it is more than sufficient for us, ensuring that we live comfortably together in our golden years. The peace of mind it provides is invaluable. It allows us to focus on what truly matters: our relationship, our health, and the cherished time spent together. Even though my wife has not held a job outside the home since her youth and does not have her pension, I have never once perceived her as a burden. On the contrary, I see her as my partner, my equal, and my greatest supporter. Our home, though old and lacking in luxury, is filled with memories, laughter, and love, a sanctuary where we can reflect on our lives together. We may not face financial difficulties, but we treasure this peaceful time, relishing the simple joys that life brings. Our modest home has become a repository of memories, each room echoing with the laughter of our children and the warmth of shared moments. It is in this simplicity that we find profound happiness, as we cultivate a space where love reigns supreme. Our son, the pride and joy of our lives, was always obedient and academically gifted, shining brightly in all his endeavors. Upon graduating from university, he joined a prestigious agency, and over the years, he gradually climbed the ranks in his career. As I retired, my heart swelled with immense pride in his growth and efforts, even though he was still in the early stages of his career. The joy of witnessing him evolve into a self-reliant and ambitious young man filled my heart with warmth and gratitude. Watching our son navigate the complexities of adulthood and establish himself in society has been our greatest pride as parents. Yet, as we revel in our son's successes, our post-retirement life has been modest. We find contentment in the simple things, in the knowledge that we have fulfilled our roles as parents. Our son treats us with respect and care, yet I have noticed his focus gradually shifting towards his own life, as it naturally should. While I understand this is a part of his growth, it sometimes leaves me pondering how he is faring on his own. I find myself reflecting on the values we instilled in him, hoping they will guide him as he navigates his path. Living on our pensions, we embrace pride in our son's accomplishments, yet we also need to plan for our old age with foresight. As our son matures and becomes engrossed in his own family and career, my wife and I realize the importance of contemplating our future independently. This awareness adds another layer of responsibility to our role as parents. We dream of living in a warm home filled with love and laughter, always wishing to bask in the tranquility of our golden years. After much heartfelt discussion, my wife and I began considering the possibility of living with our son and his family. This arrangement would not only alleviate some household chores but also foster more opportunities for intimate interactions with our loved ones. The thought of sharing our lives nearby brings warmth to my heart, a desire for connection, shared experiences, and the simple joys of family life. The laughter of grandchildren, the stories exchanged over dinner, and the bonds strengthened through shared moments are the treasures we yearn for as we navigate this new chapter together. In the end, it is love, gratitude, and the memories we create together that truly define our legacy. Each moment spent with family becomes a thread in the fabric of our lives, creating a rich tapestry of shared experiences that we cherish deeply. I look forward to the days ahead, filled with love, connection, and the beautiful journey of family life. As we embark on this new chapter, I am reminded that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the relationships we nurture and the love we share with those around us. We once held a heartfelt belief that having all our family members living nearby would significantly strengthen our emotional connections and deepen the bonds that tie us together. We envisioned a harmonious household filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of shared experiences, where family gatherings would be frequent, and we could support one another through life's challenges. However, this seemingly simple and innocent wish did not manifest as we had hoped. My son's wife, my daughter-in-law, expressed her strong opposition to the idea of living together, presenting us with a perspective that we had not fully anticipated. With a level of honesty that took us by surprise, she articulated her concerns, stating emphatically that cohabitation would inevitably lead to a loss of privacy for the couple. She believed that the delicate balance of life they had established would be disrupted, causing unforeseen complications that could sour their marriage. Her candid confession struck us deeply. It felt like a punch to the gut. She shared her feelings with such rawness and vulnerability, explaining how having us in such proximity would create an uncomfortable atmosphere and foster an undercurrent of tension that none of us desired. My heart ached as I listened to her articulate her fears. At that moment, I realized that our dream of closeness could be perceived as a threat to the harmony they had cultivated as a couple. Hearing those words was a profound shock, one that left us grappling with a whirlwind of mixed emotions. Disappointment, sadness, and even guilt for having harbored the desire to be more involved in their lives. On one hand, we were taken aback by the depth of her feelings. On the other, we found ourselves empathizing with her perspective, recognizing the importance of space in a marriage. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As parents, my wife and I have always cherished the significance of harmony in family life. We firmly believe that a nurturing environment is the foundation upon which strong relationships are built. Therefore, we understood that if our daughter-in-law felt uncomfortable, the prospect of living together could only exacerbate any existing strains in our relationship. With heavy hearts and a deep sense of responsibility, we decided to respect her feelings, choosing not to press the issue of cohabitation any further. From that moment on, we refrained from discussing the possibility of living together, opting instead to embrace our quiet existence in our modest home, filled with memories of a time when family was always close at hand. Despite the physical distance from our son, we have remained deeply connected in our way. Whenever his family needs assistance, our daughter-in-law has always graciously accepted our help. Whether it's babysitting our grandchildren or contributing to family gatherings, my wife often lends her skills to the kitchen, cooking, and cleaning to ensure everything runs smoothly. I can't help but feel a swell of pride when I see her effortlessly navigating the kitchen, preparing meals that bring joy to the entire family. During these moments, I find myself touched by the transformation in our daughter-in-law's demeanor. She expresses her gratitude with such warmth, often speaking to us with a kindness that feels genuine. It is as if the tension of our past conversations dissipates, and in those fleeting interactions, she acknowledges the value we bring to her family. Yet, despite these gestures of appreciation, my wife and I have harbored lingering doubts about her fit within our family unit. When our son announced his desire to marry her, my heart raced with concern. As loving parents, we felt an obligation to guide him toward what we believed would be a more prudent choice. We did our utmost to advise him, sharing our thoughts and expressing our apprehensions, hoping to steer him away from a decision that felt rushed. But our words fell on deaf ears, and his desire to be with her was unwavering. The more we expressed our opposition, the more he seemed to cherish his feelings for her, almost as if our disapproval only fueled his determination to be with her. This dynamic was heartbreaking to witness. It was as if our relationship was being tested, and we were losing ground in the battle for his affection. In a moment of quiet defiance, he ultimately chose to submit the marriage registration in secret, without so much as a whisper to us about his intentions. The moment we discovered this, anger surged through us like a tempest, flooding my heart with a sense of betrayal. How could he make such a monumental decision without including us in the conversation? The confusion and hurt were palpable, but as days turned into weeks, we found ourselves wrestling with the realization that acceptance was our only path forward. Looking back now, I understand that this choice was not just a step in our son's life. It was a leap into adulthood. As parents, we may not always agree with our children's decisions, but we have come to learn that loving them means allowing them the freedom to walk their paths, even if those paths diverge sharply from our expectations. It's a complex dance of love and letting go, one that is fraught with emotional turmoil yet ultimately necessary for their growth. After our son got married, it became painfully evident that he had changed in ways that were hard to accept. The decision-making power in his home shifted entirely to his wife, and he became a passive participant in their relationship, always following her lead without question. It was as if he had traded his voice for silence, his opinions for compliance. No matter what she said, our son would nod in agreement, never daring to voice a dissenting opinion. This once strong and decisive young man seemed to have slowly faded away, and all we could do was watch helplessly, feeling like mere spectators in the story of his life. My wife and I found ourselves lamenting the loss of the son we once knew, feeling powerless as parents in the face of such a drastic transformation. Witnessing our son relinquish his autonomy and surrendering to his wife's influence filled our hearts with profound sadness and an overwhelming sense of loneliness. We could only offer silent prayers, hoping that he was genuinely satisfied with the choices he was making, wishing fervently that he still felt a sense of individuality amidst the partnership he had chosen. As the days turned into years, we slowly adapted to the reality of not being able to live with our son and grandchildren, but that did little to relieve the ache in my heart. The most painful aspect of this situation is witnessing our son gradually lose his voice and opinions within the family. Each time I see him silently nodding along to his wife's words, I am transported back to memories of the vibrant young man he used to be. A tightness grips my chest, and a deep and indescribable regret washes over me, reminding me of the dreams we had for a close-knit family filled with open dialogue and shared joys. I long for the days when he was more than just a shadow of himself, when his laughter echoed through our home, and his spirit shone brightly. The contrast between then and now weighs heavily on my heart, and I am left to grapple with these conflicting emotions, searching for solace in the love that still binds us, despite the distance that has grown between us. In those moments of reflection, I can't help but wonder, what happened to the dreams we held for our family? Have we truly lost our son to the tides of life, or is there still hope for him to reclaim his individuality? While the answer remains elusive, I find myself clinging to the love we share, hoping that it will eventually bridge the chasm that has formed, allowing us to reconnect in a way that honors both his choices and our bond as a family. We dedicated our entire lives to raising our sons, pouring not just our time and effort, but also our hearts and souls into every moment of their upbringing. The sacrifices we made were immense, extending far beyond the ordinary. We put aside our dreams and desires, often putting our needs on the back burner, all in the hope that one day they would become independent, strong individuals capable of leading lives filled with joy and fulfillment. We envisioned them growing into self-sufficient adults who would not only navigate life's challenges but thrive in them. However, the stark reality before us has been painfully different. Rather than standing on their own 2 feet, our son has become increasingly dependent on others, losing not only his sense of will but also the vibrancy that once defined him. This heartbreaking shift has caused a profound ache in my heart, a sorrow deeper than I could have ever imagined. Despite this emotional turmoil, I have come to a bittersweet acceptance of our situation. It's a painful lesson, but one that has taught me that children, no matter how much we love and guide them, ultimately have their own lives to lead. As parents, we must recognize that we cannot interfere excessively or dictate the paths they choose. I carry a fervent hope that my son can break free from the constraints that bind him, that he can discover his own identity and forge his happiness, unencumbered by the opinions and expectations of others. It is my deepest desire that he learns to live authentically, embracing the life that is uniquely his. In my moments of quiet contemplation, I often reflect on what I believe to be one of the most profound and selfless expressions of parental love. It is not merely about protecting our children from every hardship or disappointment, but rather about granting them the freedom to choose their destinies, even if that choice leads them down difficult paths. This understanding can be deeply painful for us as parents, especially when we feel a sense of helplessness watching our children struggle. Yet, embracing the reality that our children will walk their unique paths is an integral part of our role as parents. It is an act of love that can feel both liberating and sorrowful, a poignant reminder that true love sometimes means letting go, no matter how hard it is. Thinking back to the time before my son married fills me with nostalgia. He was a young man so devoted to us, his parents. He treated my wife and me with warmth and kindness which made us swell with pride. His genuine consideration for our feelings and sacrifices was apparent in his actions. He was responsible and thoughtful. I truly believed that he would carry forward that gratitude into his adult life, cherishing the values we had instilled in him and repaying our kindness in his way. But as the years have passed, I have watched with a heavy heart as his personality transformed. After his marriage, the vibrant son I once knew began to fade away, leaving behind a shadow of his former self. The changes were gradual, yet unmistakable, and witnessing this metamorphosis left me feeling lost, as if I were standing in the middle of a storm, helpless against the forces that were reshaping our family. 7 years ago, as we eagerly awaited the joyous arrival of our grandchild, my son approached me with a request that would send ripples through our family dynamics. He expressed concern that our current home was too small and insufficient to accommodate the needs of a growing family. He wanted to move to a larger house, ideally situated near a good school for his children. The moment I heard his proposal, I understood what lay beneath his words. He was asking for our financial assistance. As a parent, my heart longed to see my children thrive and live comfortably. After years of diligent saving, my wife and I found ourselves in a position to help, so we decided to offer our support. Living on our pensions, we believed we could manage our daily lives without too much difficulty, so we agreed to provide him with 4 million yen. This was not a trivial amount. It represented years of hard work, careful budgeting, and sacrifice. We genuinely believed it was the right thing to do, to extend our hands and help our child in his time of need. However, the moment we handed him the money, something unexpected and heartbreaking occurred. Instead of the joy and gratitude I had hoped to see on his face, my son reacted with anger and dissatisfaction. "Dad," he exclaimed, his voice thick with resentment, "I'm your only son. Why are you being so stingy? You have plenty of savings, yet you only gave me 100,000 yen. With that, I still have to borrow an additional 4 to 6 million yen. The pressure to repay the debt will be unbearable. Couldn't you have given me a little more?" His words pierced through my heart like a knife. I was utterly stunned, grappling with shock and disbelief. How could he say such things after all we had done for him? A wave of profound sadness washed over me, a mix of disappointment and confusion. At that moment, I felt as though the ground beneath me had shifted, leaving me unmoored in a reality I hardly recognized. Yet, despite my heartache, I forced myself to respond with calmness and reason. "Son," I said, my voice steady despite the emotional storm within, "we also need to consider our financial future. Your mother and I have worked hard to save for our old age. You and your wife both have stable incomes, earning over 180,000 yen a month. In our area, that should be more than enough to manage your expenses. Even if you take on a loan with repayments of 60,000 to 80,000 yen a month, I believe you can navigate your life comfortably." As I spoke those words, I felt the weight of disappointment and love battling within me, struggling to reconcile the two opposing forces. I wanted nothing more than for him to succeed, to thrive, and to find fulfillment in his life. Yet it pained me to see how far removed he had become from the values we had instilled in him. It was a stark reminder of the complexities of love, sacrifice, and the often painful journey of parenting. I found myself grappling with the stark realization that our relationships are not immune to the pressures of adulthood, and that the love we give may not always manifest in the ways we hope for. It left me pondering how, despite our best intentions and efforts, the bonds we forge can sometimes fray under the weight of expectations and unmet needs, making the journey of parenting both beautiful and heartbreakingly complicated. After giving him the money, our relationship with our son began to unravel, gradually becoming a source of deep tension and heartbreak that permeated every corner of our lives. It felt as if a thick fog had descended upon our once joyful home, shrouding it in a sense of melancholy that was almost suffocating. He started visiting us less frequently, and the phone calls that used to fill our evenings with laughter and warmth fell silent, replaced by an uncomfortable void. The son who had once been so kind, loving, and devoted, someone I believed would always cherish the bond we shared, now seemed to be turning his back on us. It was agonizing to watch him drift away as if he were slipping through my fingers like sand. Each missed visit and unanswered call felt like a dagger to my heart, plunging deeper with every passing day. The painful realization that the years of hard work and sacrifice we had poured into raising him could so easily be cast aside was almost unbearable. I found myself consumed with feelings of betrayal and sadness. How could he forget the countless hours we spent together, the values we instilled in him, and the love that had been the foundation of our family? I often wrestled with the idea that perhaps I had expected too much from my son, clinging desperately to the hope that our bond would remain unbroken despite the circumstances. Yet, as time marched on, he appeared to grow increasingly uninterested in our lives, and that realization hung over me like a dark cloud, heavy and oppressive. In the face of this emotional turmoil, my wife and I chose to hold on to the love that remained, especially when our son's family faced challenges. When he and his wife became overwhelmed with their responsibilities and struggled to find the time to care for our precious grandchildren, my wife and I willingly stepped in to fill the void. We found genuine joy in taking them to school, preparing their favorite meals, and nurturing them every day. Each giggle and smile from our grandchildren brought a flicker of light into our hearts, reminding us of the love we had for our family. We showered them with affection, buying clothes, toys, and sweets, spending over 20,000 yen a month without a hint of complaint. The laughter and joy of our grandchildren brought us a sense of fulfillment that was beyond monetary value, a joy that words could hardly express. Yet, amidst this happiness, a nagging concern persisted in the back of my mind. How was our unwavering love being conveyed to our son and his family? Did they even recognize the depth of our affection for the little ones? Then, in a cruel twist of fate, I fell ill last August and found myself hospitalized for over 2 weeks. It was a time of vulnerability that weighed heavily on my heart, each day feeling longer than the last as I lay confined to a sterile hospital bed, longing for the comfort of home. My wife, bless her soul, stood by my side, caring for me day and night with a love that transcended the exhaustion she undoubtedly felt. She prepared meals, kept me company, and tended to my every need, all while wearing a brave face. However, she is no longer the youthful woman she once was. Her strength has waned, and I could see the toll my illness was taking on her both physically and emotionally. I knew I needed to relieve her of some of the burden she was shouldering. Out of love for her and a desire to feel a connection with my son, I decided to ask my son and his wife to step in and take turns caring for me during my recovery. I wanted to feel even a glimmer of their concern, a reflection of the love I had always tried to give them. But my simple request was met with an indifference that cut me to the core. My son's response echoed in my mind, replaying in a loop that filled me with despair. "Dad, it's natural for parents to take care of you when you're sick. I understand that. But I can't take time off work so easily. I really can't find the time. Besides, since you have so much savings, wouldn't it be better to hire professional caregivers? They can take care of you much more carefully than I can, and I think that would help you recover faster." Each word felt like a cold wind slicing through the warmth of familial love I had always believed in. Hearing this from my son made my heart feel as if it had frozen in pain and disbelief. He had truly changed. While I understood that work and responsibilities could consume one's time, The lack of warmth and respect in his words struck me harder than I ever could have anticipated. It was as if the sacred bond of father and son had been replaced by the casualness of strangers. The realization that the love and connection we once shared had morphed into this cold indifference left an ache in my heart that felt insurmountable. I had weathered many storms in my life, but as I entered my golden years, I never imagined I would be met with such a chilling attitude from my flesh and blood. My wife, who was already stretched thin, continued to support me with her nearly exhausted strength, and I worried incessantly about her health and well-being. The thought of her collapsing under the weight of her responsibilities haunted me, a constant reminder of the fragility of our lives. To ease her burden, I made the difficult decision to hire caregivers. For a couple living on pensions, this was no small expense, but in my heart, I believed it was the best choice to help my beloved wife maintain her health, even if it meant sacrificing our financial stability. I wanted nothing more than to see her smile, to know that she was not only physically present but also emotionally well. At that moment, all I wished for was a sense of connection, a return to the warmth of familial love that once enveloped our lives. I longed for the days when our home was filled with laughter, when our son would share his triumphs and troubles with us, and when we could feel the bonds of love that tied us together. Instead, I was left grappling with the painful reality that sometimes love alone is not enough to bridge the chasm that can develop in family relationships. During my hospitalization, I faced an emotional reality that shattered the comforting illusions I had about family support. My son and his wife rarely made the effort to visit me, and when they did find the time to show up, their presence felt incredibly superficial, devoid of any genuine warmth. It was as if they were merely fulfilling a social obligation rather than responding to a loved one in need. Their visits were fleeting. They offered only brief greetings and polite smiles, and then hurried away as if they were fleeing from the weight of responsibility that should have come so naturally to them. Each encounter left me feeling more desolate, amplifying the profound sense of indifference and coldness radiating from my son. It was heart-wrenching to realize that, even in the face of my illness, he seemed untouched by any emotional response. Every time they left, a deep ache settled in my heart, making it painfully clear that I felt like a stranger within my own family. How could I possibly experience anything but overwhelming sadness with such a heartless attitude for my child? I had always believed that if I were ever in a dire situation, especially one as serious as an illness, my son would instinctively step in to provide support, care, and love. This belief had been my anchor throughout life, a hope that was now crumbling into dust. As I lay in that hospital bed, grappling with physical pain, my emotional pain was even more excruciating. The situation stirred memories of happier times when family gatherings were filled with laughter, love, and mutual support. Yet, the reality I faced now felt like a harsh betrayal of those memories. I thought that regardless of how busy life had become for him, my son would prioritize our family when it mattered most. But reality proved to be a cruel teacher, showing me that the bonds of family, which I had once considered unbreakable, were delicate and easily frayed. Even during moments that should have been brimming with warmth and togetherness, like holidays and family celebrations, my son and his wife chose not to come to offer their support or simply to check in. Their absence during those significant times left a gaping void in my heart. My wife, sensing the depth of our shared sorrow and isolation, couldn't bear it any longer and confronted them over the phone. It was a painful moment, one that ignited a rush of emotions within me. When I heard her voice tremble with hurt and frustration, it struck a chord deep within my chest. I never imagined I would feel this kind of emotional turmoil regarding family, a source of love and comfort that had always been my refuge. The tightening pain in my chest was a stark reminder of my vulnerability, a feeling I had tried to suppress for so long. I never expected to confront the stark reality of a family bond that felt so unsteady, especially during a time when I so desperately needed reassurance and care. As I navigated through this tumultuous experience, it became clear to me that if I could not depend on my son, then my wife and I must take a hard look at our future and our expectations. It felt unreasonable to continue supporting him while he offered little in return, especially when we were in a time of need. I began to realize that although they might lean on me for support, the truth is they would not suffer tremendously without it. This realization was not easy to accept. It was both liberating and heart-wrenching. I understood that my son and his wife were more than capable of managing their own lives, and it was time for me to redirect my energy toward my well-being and that of my wife. I made a conscious decision to concentrate more on improving our lives, financially and emotionally, by saving a little more money. I envisioned a future where my wife and I could live peacefully, free from the disruptions caused by our children's indifference. I longed for a life where we could find joy in our companionship and not be weighed down by the disappointment of unmet expectations. The experiences I have endured thus far taught me invaluable lessons. Most importantly, I learned that we are ultimately responsible for our own lives and health. Even if familial love fades, I intend to remain a steadfast support for my wife and myself, as no one understands our needs better than we do. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Through this painful but enlightening journey, we gain insight into the intricate dance of family dynamics. It is easy to take familial bonds for granted. We often assume they will remain strong and unwavering. Yet this experience has shown me how vital it is to nurture these relationships actively. As parents, we pour our unconditional love into our children, nurturing their growth and supporting them through life's challenges. However, we must also acknowledge that relying too heavily on them as we age can lead to disappointment and heartache. Family love is not a guarantee. It can be fleeting, and it is essential to remember that the responsibility for our health and happiness ultimately lies with ourselves. The lesson here is clear. Instead of depending solely on family, we must strive to fulfill our roles as parents while proactively planning for our golden years. Love and compassion should be a mutual exchange, nurtured and cultivated from both sides. When these vital elements are lacking, we must summon the strength to seek our happiness and lead a peaceful life. After all, the most important aspect of existence lies in how we realize our own lives and the depth of our connections with others from the heart. I sincerely hope that this heartfelt story serves as a guiding light for viewers, illuminating the importance of family and the necessity of living an independent life. Ultimately, our emotional well-being and sense of fulfillment should not solely depend on the love and attention of others. We must also embrace our journeys, finding joy and peace within ourselves. As I conclude, I extend my heartfelt wishes for everyone's health and happiness. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Your support means the world to me. Until we meet again, cherish the bonds that truly matter, and never lose sight of the importance of self-love and personal fulfillment. As we wrap up this heartfelt discussion, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've shared today. This journey has opened our eyes to the complexities of family relationships, the fragility of love, and the vital importance of self-reliance in our later years. It's a poignant reminder that while family bonds are essential, they can sometimes be delicate and unpredictable. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from this experience? Is there a particular insight or lesson that resonated with you? I invite you to share just one thing you plan to bring into your life moving forward. Your reflections can inspire others in our community, so please comment below this video. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Your support means so much to us, and together, we can continue to explore the wisdom that life has to offer. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to reading your thoughts.